All right, I decided to do a probably for me a record-breaking long read of Orlando Furioso, or at least I haven't done this since the beginning when I decided I would slow down to kind of keep let Tom of LA Books keep up with me, which he's really doing them sporadically. So I'm just doing it at my own pace, which usually is like 20 cantos. I finished the stuff for Canto 32. Yes, I finished the little stub of Canto 32, and then I started reading Canto 33, which has a giant prophetic history painting done by Merlin by magic, which is an excuse for Ludvigo Aristo to talk about the history of France trying to subjugate Italy and how you failed every time. It always ended in disaster for you. You should never try it again. Fuck off from my country, kind of that sort of thing. Um, and we get a whole thing, which uh, I I got a little bit of only because I have read Barbara Tuchman's A Distant Mirror, the history of the 14th century, which depicts a lot of the Hundred Year War, and in that, including as the Hundred Year War between France and Britain, but it also has France doing various adventures in Italy, trying to get get Italian thing, and also having their own pope in France against the pope in Rome and all that. So I gave me a vague idea of the thing, obviously told from a very partisan point of view from Ludvigo Aristo, very justifiably. You're continually, it's like when you're not having a horrible wars in France. On your own soil, you're insist on coming into Italy and trying to have war there for your own kind of glory and greed and such like that. So I decided, because it's like, oh God, it's one of these giant history tellings, that I would just bowl my way through it. It's sort of like when they had the whole scene of reviewing the army and they listed all the army. It was like, oh, that seemed to take forever because I broke it into chunks. And as I started reading this, I realized, oh God, we're just going to have a list of a whole bunch of historical events, twists and turns and things like that, which aren't the main characters of this poem, and I don't really care about. I am not an Italian. I don't care about all the great glory of the Italians, or sometimes the defenders of the Italians, beating off the French and everything leading to ruin for them. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna read the whole bloody thing through. And wow, well, I got a good workout there, because that was 60 stanzas instead of my usual 20 stanzas. Um, Probably the thing most of note is at the end of this, Bradamante, who has won her way by force of arms in here, has a dream afterwards where she is completely butthurt because she feels that Ruggiero has betrayed her and has come to love Marfisa. And indeed, she's heard a kind of a distorted tale that he plans to wed Marfisa, this other kick-ass Sarsen warrior, she being a kick-ass female Christian warrior. But she's visited in a dream by Ruggiero, who says, "Why are you so downcast? What you believe is false. Sooner a stream would flow uphill than I would ever wrest my thoughts from you. My very eyes I deem less dear, my very heart I would abhor, if than myself I did not love you more." And then he seemed to add, "I come today to be baptized and to fulfill my vow. Wounds other than love caused my delay and kept me lying helpless until now." And indeed, that is what's happened. He fought a duel. He won. It looked like he had lost, actually, but then the guy he stabbed through the heart died after he had fallen. So he won the duel. And so Ruggiero and the dream then melt away. No further words from him the fates allow. Fair Bradamante wakes and weeps anew, convinced that the sweet vision is untrue. And I mean, I guess there's a spoiler alert here and stuff like that, because it's like, oh man, it seems like Bradamante is so despairing. She's going to find some way to kind of commit suicide by going on some kind of a massive kind of killing spree to kind of get somebody to kill her, suicide by other people. But we also know that they do get together, and even if Ruggiero dies fairly shortly after this, they couple and from this line comes not the Estede line, which it's an Estei asshole guy who is actually the patron of Ludvigo Aristo, and as so often the case in this stuff, the patrons are never that generous with the poet. They're always kind of grudging and in the way. At least it seems from the few examples we have, it's always kind of a troublesome thing of these money guys who pay the poets to praise them up to things are often kind of stingy and not that great. But yes, I bowled my way through that big section because I knew it was going to be a lodestone that I wasn't going to be that interested in. And wow, it's a good vocal exercise to kind of read that much stuff out. God, I massacred every single freaking name in there. That's a good reason that I keep my readings private, other than for copyright reasons, because I'm reading out loud the Barbara Reynolds version of this, and it's obviously under copyright. So me sharing a recording, I think she'd want to sue me off the planet just because of how badly I'm reading the names involved. You know, who knows if I'm getting Rigurio right or Bradamante, but that's how I say it, and I'm fine with it. But that's where I'm at the moment. Okay, I'm gonna do a no ums video, and then I'm going to do something else that doesn't involve me yakking.